But we are back here with Limit. Going once more into Za'qul, slightly altered composition. Mage in for a rogue, due to that rogue having to go off and achieve in the world of PvP. But so far we've seen very few changes coming in terms of overall efficacy, so hopefully that'll continue and we'll see that second Delirium be defeated. Definitely a lot of things to pay attention to, seeing how it all changes, which ought to be quite interesting. It's definitely going to be an explosive raid day. We do soon expect to see Method finishing up their splits and heading into Za'qul as well. Pieces currently, I believe, finishing up a food and strategy break, soon to be pulling on this boss as well. I anticipate, I mean, how many kills do you think we're going to see on Za'qul by the end of this raid day?
By the end of this raid day, probably 2.
Yeah.
Two. Well, I want to see what Pieces is going to do with now that they're slowly getting back from their break. But yeah, I'm thinking.
You think
2,
possibility of 3?
maybe 3. If Pieces says something really spicy, we might see 3 kills.
Yeah, I will say, Leona hinting a little bit onto what may be possible. Some of those, he was hinting at some spicy composition changes, potentially, that might have it. JTH, of course, yeah, can't count them out. We were just talking about Alpha, JTH, a lot of the Asian guilds, you know, people tend to overlook them. But absolutely, they have a history and a pedigree of accomplishing a lot in this world first race, and it's definitely not, and it's definitely possible to see them overcome. And true, very true, actually. Chilby calling me on it. Aversion as well. They will, presumably be in here progressing. We've seen them, day in, day out, really keeping pace with Pieces, Limit in terms of pull count. Very capable guild. It's definitely possible that we see some upsets on this boss. Method took a long time to do their splits today, and most guilds have just gone in and have been pounding into it. So it's possible we see some guilds catch up. We might see a bit of a shakeup in the world rankings on this boss, which is, of course, exactly what we like to see. The drama, the ups, the downs of the world race that we are fortunate enough to be witnessing from so many perspectives. Hey, Veloris, is Limit still having to hold DPS? No. So they actually elected to have a different timing, I believe. So at one point, both Method and Limit believed that there was a good timing that you could achieve by holding DPS at the end of the P1 and ensuring that a Dread came late into P2. But I believe, and I would need to check with the Raider on this, we hopefully will get Refute on the desk at some point, and he'll be able to let us know for sure. But I believe they have abandoned that timing, actually, due to the fact that it interacted very poorly with when they were getting the dreads relative to these splits. Because, as you know, these manic dreads in this phase are responsible for putting those eyeballs in the ground, allowing you to enter the state of delirium, gain this haste, and address the mythic mechanic. So if you change that timing radically and you have it spawn, too close to when you're going down or after you're going down and that ad spawns, that's not so good. As you may know, the mechanic spawns 75 seconds into the phase. Manic Dreads come every minute and a half. So if you delay that timer too much and you make it so that it comes a minute and 30 in, you actually can't send people down until after those Manic Dreads come, which is 15 seconds through that psychotic split cast, which, needless to say, is no bueno, as they say in many places. But this pull so far looking decent. They made it through that first real big pressure point that we talk about, which is coming out of phase 3 into phase 4, as they have those high stacks of hysteria, very dangerous with that first set of Manic Dreads coming out immediately. You saw the barriers going down, a rally going out, very important to keep everybody up. Lip has dibs on battle reses for this fight. He needs at least one, so preserving everybody's health, obviously, well, I'm about to say the most obvious statement in the history of the world. Keeping everybody alive is important. You don't want deaths on a boss like this with that tight check. So, continuing on here, they are currently going back down into the Fear Realm, fearlessly, I might add, dealing with these summoners, getting him dotted up, in order to begin
our first
address the
psychotic
mythic
split here. And we see the Hunter and the 2 rogues in Lip. They're in the Delirium phase, and here we go. Lip's doing the big damn. He's bringing the dam. His focus here is just to dot all the mobs. He's kind of like secondary cleaving the Delirium. It's really up to the hunters and the hunter, singular, and the 2 rogues to kind of blast this mob. I'm curious to see what's going to happen here with the next Delirium. Hopefully we get there far enough to see. Now we see the defrauded guy's going to phase over. Hopefully he has a way to live, and it looks like he gets dispelled. Man, one of our warriors got really low, but it looks like an LOH came in to save him. Our rogues are still up here, and then they both forced themselves out early. So here we go. We're looking pretty stable. I'm not going to caster curse it, but I just did. So we'll see what's going to go on here. Now Lip's going to go. He's going to stay here as long as possible. He's he's just popped his Vampiric Embrace, so you can see it just instantly heal up. You see him take a tick of damage, it instantly gets healed up. Not even half a second before. And he's going to pop a Shadow Fiend, just the last bit of cooldown usage here. And, we're going to go with, hopefully, like, as much damage as possible.
Yeah, so obviously right now it reminds me so much of STM, just absolutely going for the boss's throat, no regard for your own life, tapping into the power of the void, going for the big burn.
Yep, and he takes a Soul Stone. They still have 1 res, so they have that little room for error. Ideally, you don't want to use it. You want to save it for in case someone falls in this next Delirium, which is just about to happen here. So who are we sending? We're just sending the FT down again. So FT's going down again. We have Kingfly, I think he's in there too. Or no, it's THD. Our Sleepy Warlock is in there too. So we have Sleepy Warlock, Hunter, 2 rogues. So this should die. It's actually getting pummeled. This ad is getting
Tyrant,
owned.
huge, man.
It is actually dying before the Fear ad. That's insane, because that's 5 people versus the whole raid. Man, they really beat the hell out of that thing.
Very ridiculous. Now
here's the moment of truth. Can we keep our Delirium boys alive after they phase through? This is going to be really tough.
Bilbo Swaggins, yes, he did not hit Dispersion there on purpose. He is trying to die. He has way too many stacks to be kept alive. Ruin goes down in that transition, but it looks conceivable that they keep Zares alive. Or did he die as well? He may have ticked down. But regardless, right now they have that critical mass of players. And you see Manifest, Nightmares.
At this point, they're just trying to kill everything. The ads, the boss, damage amp is coming. Everyone's just got to stay alive and do as much damage to everything as they can.
We've seen deaths with these tentacles before. And everybody needing to dodge here.
Yep, and we should be okay here because the spawn right on the boss is a very, very nice movement going on here. I think one of the healers is down. I'm not sure.
Okay, so we're looking at that boss's energy bar. Boss's energy bar. Right now, we're hoping to see a cast of dreads come out before this. This is getting so close. 5 million health. The manifests come out so insanely close right here. Yes! And there we go. World first on Za'qul coming in from limit. And you hear that last night, that frustration gone in a moment. Absolutely unleashing.
World first Za'qul. Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to see Azshara.
The immense hype coming out.
174
beats per minute coming in from Lip. The man of steel himself letting the hype go through. Max out of his chair clapping. Lighty, I have to say, if Max isn't the MVP, this man is piloting the entire raid for them. What a massive performance coming in from so many members of that guild. I mean, the decision-making there, Max choosing to sit himself, taking the Bill Belichick role, raid leading, Lighty solo tanking that boss, Jigs living as that off-tank, and it can't be said enough.
And we got
Pieces.
Our guys in Pieces here
Pieces,
for
giving
the
them the clap. Absolutely, the
We're
camaraderie
all
is real.
so polite here. Everyone's so nice.
The Pieces guys are great. The camaraderie is real. We can't wait to support them as they get their own kill. And then once everybody's on Azshara, man,
I hope
no kindness.
I hope